So without further ado, let's start the actual worship stream show for Absen, House of Worship. Take it away.
Thanks, Gary. Again, like I said earlier, so great or so glad to be with everyone today. And this is something that's really, really important to me. I've been in LED technology for the last 15 years. I love this side of the industry. Had the chance to work within a house of worship for 10 years beyond before that, and then just really understanding how technology can drive and impact our services. So, as someone who now works for an LED manufacturer, I think it's important for you to understand who we are and then why we would be a good partner for you for your next LED project. So, Absen is, like I said earlier, an LED manufacturer. We've been around for about 15 years, and we are the number one LED manufacturer in the world. What we mean by that is no one exports more product into the entire world than Absen Corporation. We are vertically based solutions, allowing us to really do a lot of different opportunities from basketball courts to house of worship to stadiums. We do basically, if there's a need for an LED, we have a solution for that. And then we're very, very focused on specific relationships in house of worship and then corporate retail, things of that nature as well.
Now, before we get into that, I think it's important to let people know that while the Absen LED walls are made in China, and I'm very excited about that because I'm going to be going with you to China in a couple of weeks to visit the factory and get a tour. I'm super excited about that. But Absen has a complete U.S. operation. And that U.S. operation doesn't just include someone on the phone. It's technicians, it's pre-sales, it's post-sales. You'll draw up rooms for people, and you actually do the white glove installation. So if you're a dealer looking to get into house of worship, you're going to get it installed by the manufacturer. If you're the house of worship, worried about what's the quality of my video walls, who's going to install it, you're getting the top quality walls in the world with the best LEDs being delivered and installed by the experts who are the same engineers sometimes who design the system for you. I think that's so important. Not all LED video walls are created the same.
No, absolutely not. And that's a very good point. As Gary stated, we are a Chinese manufacturer, but we've been in the United States for over 12 years. With that being said, there's about 45 of us who work for Absen United States. Like Gary stated earlier, we are very, very focused on making sure you have the best customer service interaction from, if you're a dealer or an integrator, or if you're a house of worship in general. We want to make sure that you have the best solution for what you're trying to accomplish. And with that, we have a few different products that we want to be able to talk to you about today. And we've kind of built this as like a 3 different option approach and just kind of like what this could mean for you from an LED type perspective. So the 3 products that we actually stock with Broadfield, the NX series, the PL 2.5, and then the Icon X series as well. These are great solutions for a wide variety of applications across the entire House of Worship campus, and we'll get into that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the PL 2.5. This is one of the flagship products that we have for the House of Worship market. If you are someone that's watching, how do I say this? One of the top, web streams or broadcasts of the House of Worship market, you're looking at one of those guys. More than likely, it's one of these products, like the PL 2.5. You're going to see a 2.5 mil pixel pitch at a 500 by 500 cabinet, and it's going to be plenty of bright. But beyond that, the refresh rate is going to be amazing at 7680. So what that means is your camera, on camera, it's going to look flicker-free, and then there's going to be no issues. That grayscale drive motor, all industry standard for live event production. And then contrast at 70,000 to 1, or 7,001 rather, is going to make sure that you have plenty of dynamic range within your video broadcast.
Now that's a lot of specs that I think are going to blow away a lot of house worship. So I want to simplify this a little bit on why these screens are especially good for house of worship. And that is oftentimes you'll have the preacher or the band or the choir in front of one of these screens. And if you point a video camera at the talent in front of one of those screens, this is a screen that's going to look great. You're not going to have more raying. You're not going to get blurred out. You're going to actually be able to have the person who's on stage almost interacting with what's ever behind them on the stage. Like we have this virtual set here, but you can have video coming in. You can have whatever you want. So the experience is really a live event experience, like you would get if you went to see a concert in your local, concert hall or your local when your basketball arena has a band come in and they play in front of those video walls. This is this kind of quality stuff.
Absolutely. If you're doing anything that's going to be like the LED wall is going to be on camera, that's what we say, then this is the solution you should be looking at. And plus, a lot of house of worship, we want to be able to set up and tear down and create different staging looks, almost on a weekly basis. This is a product that will handle the rigors of being able to be set up and torn down, day in and day out. It's designed for that touring product in mind. So it does great when it comes to being able to be put in a road case, moved across campus, or set up, in a completely different way. And we can have rigging options available from ground stacking to, wall mounting or ceiling mounting options as well. So the versatility is almost endless with this type of product.
Yeah, let's bring this picture full screen so people can see it a little bit. So you can see that there's actually a whole kind of structure behind the panels.
Yeah.
And that's why the panels can be moved around. They can put in a case. They can be flown from, the ceilings or what have you. So there is a mechanical stability and structure to the Polaris, which is really good for house of worship, because oftentimes you may just want to use these screens for certain events. You may want to move them around depending on the time of the year and what you're setting up.
Oh, exactly. And beyond that, the product is versatile from an array standpoint. So you can do concave, convex, and concurve. So if you're wanting to get really artistic with your approach on how you're setting up your LED, whether it's a ribbon, whether it's a circle, a cylinder, whatever, you can do all that with this product. And it allows you to have full, creative capabilities from an LED standpoint. That's what's really cool about the technology now, is it's not just a single, 16 by 9 LED wall on the wall or whatever. It's something that allows you to have basically creating more of an interactive type environment, which is what we see a lot in house of worship today.
And you customize the size of the panels to what your church is and your room is. And the other thing I want to stress is that there's lots of different ways to mount these. And if you decide to get one of these walls, whether it's curved, flat, vertical, square, horizontal, we can help you with that mounting and how that goes. We know a lot of houses of worship are like architecturally, kind of protected. You don't want to mess with it, so you're going to want to fly your panels then, right? So you just go from the ceiling. And all those times, if you do one of these curved ones, which is super cool, you need a special kind of mounting, but one-stop shop. If you call Broadfield, we'll get on the phone, we'll get on the engineers, and if it's the brackets that are beyond the Absen brackets, we have partnerships with other companies who can match you those, get you those brackets. So if you want to wrap a building or make a really curved, sexy thing, you can. Let's jump into the next set of panels.
So NX is a great product. Now this is, we look at LED like video or for like Lego blocks, if you will. So the other one was basically 1/2 meter by 1/2 meter, whereas the NX is something that's really cool. Usually in LED, you see like a 27-inch panel, and those take a little bit of time when you're setting up, whereas the NX is 43 inches in diagonal. So what that equates to is that's less failure points, that's less LED panels that need to be set up for any particular project or installation.
Less seams.
Exactly. Less failure rates from that standpoint. And what we like to look at from this product is, because its refresh rate is a little bit less at 3840, it's probably not going to look the best on camera. That's why we recommend the PL series. But NX is great. So if you're not doing like any broadcasting and you just want, large LED screens in the room, this is the solution to go with. We kind of look at it from also the standpoint of NX is great for permanent installations, where PL 2.5 is great for those, set up and tear down type applications.
Or fly them from the ceiling.
Exactly. And we can also fly NX as well. It can be wall mounted. So there's tons of versatility and options that you have with both of these products.
Now I'm going to bring up something so people will see both the NXs and the PLs. We have gone 2.5. And we picked 2.5 for house of worship because there's a little trick. 2.5 means how far away should you be to get the optimum viewing experience?
You're asking the $1 million question, because you ask, 10 people, you're going to get 10 answers. But what we say is 2.5 should be about 7 times the pixel pitch. So 7 times 2.5, and some people will even say 5 times 2.5 is the viewing distance. So anywhere from like 12 to 18 feet is kind of this is where all the pixels are going to merge together and look seamless.
So if you're on a stage, if you're on a pulpit, that's pretty much the depth that you're talking about. So even people in the first pew are going to get a crystal clear, great view of what it looks like.
Exactly. And like going back to PL, it's really important that we have something like a 2.5 mil pixel pitch, So we have that tight. So when we get that camera focusing on the, the capacitor or maybe the band, it's not going to look super pixelated. It's going to look completely fine at
Well,
that point.
great point, because the pastor maybe will be 10 feet in front of the screen. The camera sees a depth that's different
Exactly.
than the viewer. So
Right.
that's a great point. So if you're going to have talent in front of the screen, you definitely want a pixel pitch of 2.5 or higher, which means a lower number, right?
Right. Yes. We're opposite in this world. So what's really cool with that is like also Absen has a wide variety of products and pixel pitches. So if you're needing something that's a little bit beyond what we're talking about today, you can still reach out through Broadfield and we can design a solution that's completely customizable to what you're looking to accomplish.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's really cool, this is a product that we are seeing more and more houses of worships integrate in from a variety of applications. This could be used for a smaller house of worship. It's our Icon X series, and it's three different sizes: 110-inch, 136, and then 163-inch diagonal, what we call all-in-ones. So that's all bundled together and ships in one ATA case to the dealer for installation. And what's really cool about this is you could use these as left and right screens. You can use them as center screens. They're all wall mounted, but they can also be used like in the foyer, in a cafeteria, anywhere that you would use like a traditional, 85 or whatever inch TV. You can now use one of our LED products, and that's going to last you. I think the failure rate on all of our LED products is 100,000 hours at 50% brightness. So that's over 10 years of complete on time.
And we have one of these set up in our conference room. We absolutely love it.
Yeah.
My seat is like at the control seat. I'm about 6 feet away from it, and I don't see a dot. It looks gorgeous. These are a little bit lower number,
Yeah.
which means higher. What is it, a 1.8 or 1.9?
It's a 1.27.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so super tight.
You could really be fine. I could get even closer if I wanted.
You could.
They look great. So this is something, if you're going to put it in a hallway where people might be walking right in front of it, the picture's still going to look great for digital signage. Also, although the show is House of Worship, these you find in like corporate entrances for buildings now, or
Absolutely.
car dealerships will have them in the dealerships. You can really see the cars looking great. But for House of Worship, I guess you could also use this if you had a large classroom that was a very large classroom that the teacher could use as opposed to the traditional whiteboard or LED screen also.
Get rid of the projector. It's kind of our philosophy from that standpoint. And what's really cool is we got a 4K solution that's coming out a little bit later this year. So for those of you who are needing that super high resolution with LED, we have that available. But what's really cool beyond that is these have some intelligence. The series you saw before in this series have intelligence built in to where like you could point this to a web link. And so if you got your digital signage system set up to where it uses a web address, you can use that to deploy your content across campus as well. Or monitor, if you got a big multi-campus, you can monitor all your digital signage that way and do your mass deployments from that standpoint as well.
So it's cool for a House of Worship. They could have some digital signage. Let's say these were the side screen that we're talking about future services, maybe a fundraiser you're doing, maybe someone who's being honored could be playing all the time while people come in and out of the church. Then when the service comes on, bang, we switch into that mode and we're doing the whole presentation. Just gorgeous screens. I can't stress enough. We use one in our conference room. Thumbs up all the way.
So as a company, we mentioned earlier that we are a manufacturer. We are based in China, but we have a strong U.S. presence that's extremely important. As we're talking about that, it's also to understand why we think, some of our all-in-one solutions are very important. All-in-one, compact design, everything's included, and that's with every Absen order. You're going to get a full bill of material from the cabling, the spares, the modules, the cabinets, the whole 9 yards. Everything's going to be turnkey from an Absen perspective. Very, very easy to use as well. So we make sure that all of our products, not just the icon, are very simple, very thoughtful, very laid out, very intuitive. But not only that, but from that standpoint, you're also backed up with our award-winning customer service and support. Beyond that, fast installation and maintenance, meaning that, hey, these walls are going to go up in a very, very quick manner. Our all-in-ones usually install 2 people in about 2 hours. And then our panel-based solutions just depend on how big they are. If you're doing a concert or touring or house of worship setup, we have people that will set up, standard size walls in less than 45 minutes to an hour, and then testing on top of that. So very quick, very easy, and more beyond that. If you do have issues, we have US-based support to be able to help you out with any problems that you may have with the controller or cabling or just having any faulty problems whatsoever. We're here for that.
Another thing for those dealers out there, and even the churches, that when you get an Absen X, it also comes with some extra spare parts, like some panels. So should something happen down the road, you have that part to pop right in, and then you send the bad one back to be replaced afterwards.
Yeah.
But the first thing you do is get up and running then. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, and from like an educational standpoint, we never want to throw away the module. That's like the golden thing. It's everything in the LED world is batched together. So it's important that we keep those correctly. It's like if you think about it like this, if you go into your closet and you got a lot of different black outfits and like all the little variations in black that you see in your closet, LED is kind of the same way. So with that being said, when we batch products or make our LEDs in one production run, we know that they're going to look the exact same, which is really important in the LED world. And then we can do our calibration on top of that. But when it comes to repair, all you have to do is send those down to Orlando or to Walnut, California. And within 2 weeks, you're going to get your repair sent back fully matched and batched.
So I want to go on this page. We don't have to bring it full screen, but the keywords here are Absen and US. You're really dealing with a company that has its feet firmly in the United States. You have technical support here. You have white glove installation. So if you're a dealer, you don't have to worry about learning how to install this stuff, although it's great if you want to.
Yeah.
And there are courses you can take. We'd be happy to sign you up and get you trained for that. But you don't have to worry. Your customer is always going to get a great installation by experts who report directly to Absen on this. So there's a level of, I call it white glove service, that I know there's a lot of places you can get panels from.
Yeah.
And those panels might be a lot cheaper, but you don't know if you're getting panels that were mismatched from 4 different shipments. You don't know what level of quality they go under. And the other thing is that a year or two, the guy says, these are great panels. Yeah, I've sold so many of them. You'll love them. But 2 years from now, who knows? You guys have been in the States for 12 years.
Yeah.
You got a firm investment here. You said you have Orlando is one repair and manufacturer. Where's the other one?
Walnut, California.
So we got both coasts covered. You're really getting a company that's committed to success in the U.S. and committed to you as the end user, having quality and support long term in the United States. And I just can't stress that enough.
We have this internal kind of mindset. It's like we want the first project to go good, but we don't want to stop at that first project. We want your second LED wall or your third that you want to do for deployment. We're here for the long run. Like Gary said, we've been in the United States for over 12 years. And if you have to speak to one of our technicians or anything like that, we're all US based. We're here to make sure that you have success with whatever solution that you have from Absen.
Cool. So if you're the house of worship yourself, you want to learn more about these Absen walls, give us a call at 800-323-2325. If you are a dealer, reseller, VAR, system integrator, AV integrator, someone who just buys stuff and installs it for your local house of worship, but your real job is putting in, TVs and security systems for people's homes, whatever it is, we know in house of worship how the house of worships actually procure and get stuff is a little bizarre at times and goes through different stages. But you can go to broadfield.com Absen and you can get a local Absen integrator, or you can actually get set up to sign up as an integrator from Broadfield Distributing. So we really welcome dealers as well. And I want to thank you. That completed our show. I think we did a really great job.
I think so,
Thank you
too.
so much.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to hearing your questions about Absen video walls. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Absen video walls, not just in the church itself in the sanctuary, but also how the video wall and how video technology can be used by churches in the event space that many churches and temples have, and how that's a way to increase revenue and increase visibility for your church.